as well. Now, we did talk about alchemy, and that's a lot to do with creativity. So Trish is an amazing artist as well, and photographer, fantastic photographer. Photography is art. We have this conversation a lot of my gypsy art people out there. Have you got your cards here? It sounds like we're all set up here. We are.
We are,
and we've got some beautiful cards there. There was one in particular I wanted. Did you have some that connected with faith?
I do. I'm
energy?
actually going to look. Well, this little guy, this prophecy card.
And I'll share some photographs. I'm sure Trish will, so we can see them closer.
I'll give you close-ups tonight.
Afterwards.
I'll post them for you. But the prophecy card, he actually was a little tiny praying mantis, no more than about 2 centimetres long. So he's a baby one.
So these are photographs in your house?
From my garden. This guy insisted on having this photo taken. Like 4 nights in a row, he appeared in my bedroom, and I put him outside the next morning and come back in. And in the end, I brought him down here, took his photo, and he posed with a camera. And but he's all about the energy of a praying mantis is all about the prophecy, the story that was written before you were born. So he is very much a part of not just this garden here, but also the magic of nature. The gateway card's another one. That wasn't here. That was on location in Hanging Rock in Victoria, and nobody can explain how a rainbow was shooting out of the mouth of that rock when the sun wasn't at the right angle and there was no dust around or anything, and that in itself is showing that there is a magical gateway that will open up for you. This, one of my all-time favourites, Journey of the Soul, is the macadamia tree, and that is the actual essence being made in that photo.
So this photograph is
the essence in one of these blue bowls. There's a little tourmaline in the bottom of the bowl, and all the macadamia flowers.
That's all the flowers on the top.
And I was photographing the bowl of essence at the time, and it wasn't till I zoomed in. I listened to what I was being guided to do. I kept getting a message. Zoom in here, go a little bit to the right, zoom in more, no, you've missed it, go back this way, and I had to follow it for a few minutes, and it revealed what looked like a person paddling a canoe.
It absolutely does, actually.
Yeah, and the eyes of spirit watching down on you, and the most important thing, the hooks being pushed back to the people sending the energy your way. So it's about you paddling your canoe through life, in your own time and space, shining your own light on calm seas, and not worrying about other people's energy. So it's probably one of my
Something
favourites.
in there for all of us.
Absolutely.
And now you can see it is Fairy Week this week. So
this
we have
is Fairy.
And here we are.
These beautiful little friends here in the garden. They are just divine. They are little fairies in themselves. And the fairy card, as you can see, arms outstretched. And the beautiful joy just leaping forward and the magic leaping forward. So, and we're very lucky with that.
These cards, so we can purchase these cards.
We
sound like another little plug here. But we can.
You can purchase them. There is I'll put a link up tonight for you as to where you can find the blog. I've started to blog these, so because I'd like you guys to understand these are my journey of 7 years. So they're not just cards I sat down and said one day I'll make a deck of cards.
Yes.
It resulted the other way around. All my photography and me going, what am I going to do with it? And everyone saying, you should make cards out of those. So I have. And basically I'll put the link up for you so you can hear some of the stories behind them, because there are things like being out in nature.
We would love, I know everyone would love to see the ones with nature. Well, they seem all with nature, but ones connected particularly with garden.
I was going to say there is one I should quickly show you.
Sure.
Oh, there's alchemy, for example, in all its glory.
Hooray.
Two, actually. The White Knight. He just looks like a beautiful Spanish conquistador, but then when I looked closer I realised he was a Knights Templar, so he is the White Knight. So and he stood by my doorway all alone, one flower instead of 20 on a head, and he waited until I actually needed to have some things cleared in my life. Divine time. That one sums it up beautifully, because to wait for that photo I was in a blizzard. It was rime ice melting. I went through 3 pairs of gloves. I went inside twice to warm the battery up in the camera, and I kept going outside to photograph water dropping from icicles, and I got the perfectly scented ball in its own divine time. So there's a doctor's signatures to these cards too, but details of where you can get these from, they'll be out for everybody at the end of January.
Okay.
So
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
so we're not
it's
far
good
away.
time. It's good timing
There
for
are
us to visit
pre-orders
you.
as well. So so pre-order offers up as well. So,
Now, with your photography of the flowers for the deck, so you were saying like it's 7 years of you putting the deck together, but actually coming into taking the photographs of the flowers, is that something that you do anyway? Do you take photos anyway and keep all your photographs?
I do keep all my photographs. So there'll be times when I'll be just walking out in nature and I might see a rock and it looks very plain and ordinary, or I might see a leaf and something that's really plain and ordinary, and I just get this desire that I need to take a photo. So when you listen to that message, take the photo. Don't worry about what you're photographing, just photograph it and then put it on the computer and see what happens. And quite often there'll be something in there.
Well, I find I do a bit of photography.
You do.
But I'm not as, I guess, a dedicated photographer as yourselves. I use an Olympus pen. I love my little snappy chappy, as I call it. And I'm more of a sketcher and a painter and a drawer, but I'm a journaler. And I'm always telling all of you must journal. And I know photographers, dedicated photographers like yourself, who are very, very artistically gifted with photography, see it more as that is your journal. That is how you keep
my
things.
journal, yeah.
So it's another way, the way Trish has this, keeps her journal with her, all her flowers and her things that she does. This is another way that you can do that. I know a lot of you sort of worry about, I can't sketch, but Trish's photos are amazing.
I can't draw to save myself.
There we go. She can, she probably can.
Well,
but this is a way for you to keep a record. And look what Trish has done with her record as well.
It decided it wanted to be out there as part of a deck of cards. I've also chosen the shape of a hexagon for a reason, because I'll have to put them down here. Will you be able to see them there? Maybe here.
Maybe here, Trish, actually.
Okay, let's see if we can do them now. Or we might actually just move the essences, because we need to be able to put 7 cards down. Just pop these dudes back over here. Okay. Darling. Okay, so hopefully we won't drop any. I'll put one up like this. Okay, but normally they would all...
very clever. Yeah. They connect so beautifully.
They form a flower of life.
Which is,
a bit hard.
It is. But they all...
Fairy in the middle, saying it's all about fairies.
It is all about the fairies.
If you want to hold one that side, I'll
can,
hold these to this side. This will give you an idea.
That's just
So
amazing.
as you can see, it forms a flower, and that is actually the flower of life, the centre of the flower of life.
Very, very good.
So we're working with the energies of sacred geometry in these cards too, and they all have a symbol within the cards too, so they carry that energy.
Amazing.
And the symbols were gifted by the photographs when I sat and worked with them, or if I was in, say, my garden, fairy, for example, I sat here and said, okay, fairy, what do you want your symbol to be?
So you can use your camera, and also don't think you have to have the biggest high-powered camera to take beautiful photos. Mobile phones take the most amazing...
these days an iPhone.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Take up.
You know, absolutely brilliant. Thank you, darling.
Well, thank you so much, Trish, for
My pleasure.
sharing with us your essence making and your art as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. I have had such a great day. I
so
don't
have I.
think I want to leave, really. And I think that we have to make, I have to make this a regular thing. So I think wherever I am, if you've got an amazing garden, you can write to me and I'll come and, I'd love to come and have a cup of tea.
It's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea too. And I can come and have a look at what you do. Oh, sorry, fairy. She's saying, look, it's fairy. We're talking about fairies. So thank you for sharing Mermaid's Garden with us. Blessings, everyone.
Thank you.